Part of the chemistry also is down to the fact that Lucy is out of her time. She is literally transported back to 1946. We're Heather and Natalie, the romance rippers, romance addicts and authors. We're here to help you craft stories that leave your readers begging for more. This is the time to get that story out of your head and give book lovers the emotionally satisfying ships they crave. Now let's get to the heart of romance. And it's our intention to make this mostly truck free. Hi guys, it's Heather
and Natalie.
We're the Romance Rippers.
Welcome.
Here at the Romance Rippers, we have been talking about OTPs and how to write OTPs. And we had the delightful experience last year of discovering a movie that did a really good job of crafting its couple in a way that we think represents OTPs very well, specifically A Biltmore Christmas.
A Biltmore Christmas is a 2023 Hallmark movie made about and filmed at the Vanderbilt family's historical Biltmore estate in Asheville, North Carolina. It follows Lucy as she's hired to write a script about a remake of a movie called His Merry Wife. She joins a tour of the grounds, and when she knocks an hourglass over, she finds herself transported back in time to 1946, when the original holiday movie is being filmed. She meets the cast, including the dashing and kind-hearted Jack, and must ensure the movie gets finished and somehow return to her own time.
As we both really love visiting the Biltmore estate, we were both delighted to find out that this Hallmark movie is actually delightfully wonderful. It has a truly lovely Christmas romance story with not only the beautiful scenery and setting that it is in, being the Biltmore estate, it has a very nostalgic feel and has a one true pairing or OTP that really makes you swoon. Today, we're going to break down what makes Jack and Lucy, this couple, such a good example of a strong OTP. Using the 3-step guide that we have made previously, we outlined it in our recent episode of 3 steps to creating fantastic OTPs. It's our intention to make this mostly spoiler free so that you can watch this movie and get to see how they make the resolution to creating this happily ever after, the happy ending, without us giving all of the specific details about how that happens, but still talking about why this couple in this movie does such a great job, and I think has really been a standout of recent Hallmark movies.
The first step to creating an OTP is chemistry through polarity. Lucy and Jack are both in entertainment, each trying to advance their respective careers in this creative industry. This gives them a basic common ground to connect over. However, their views of not just their work, but all of life are very, very different. Lucy is quite nihilistic. She finds happily ever afters to be unrealistic and tired. Jack, on the other hand, sees life as fun and magical, and acting in movies as a way to share that joy with the rest of the world.
Part of the chemistry also is down to the fact that Lucy is out of her time. She is literally transported back to 1946. That is very much the fish out of water trope. Really fun, solid one to start with. And because she is a fish out of water, she acts very oddly. She doesn't act like someone from the 1940s, obviously, because she is a woman from 2023. It is impossible for her to actually fit in no matter how much she tries to look the part. She's always going to present herself as she is, which is a modern woman. And so you have that chemistry as well of cultural differences. And I would say that's a really big part of the initial intrigue that Jack has when he first meets her. She's acting oddly. She talks like no one else he has heard talk before, in quite a brash way. It's very funny, and he finds it actually quite refreshing, but also odd. part of the chemistry is also, I think, down to the fact where there is the conflict of she is lying. Um, she is lying about who she is at first or who she is working with. And he wants to know what's actually going on, and his curiosity actually threatens to potentially expose her lies, expose the weird circumstances she is in, or at least people thinking she's potentially insane. So there is that push and pull. Even with him being so charming, he's also sort of a bit of a threat, especially at the beginning, because she doesn't know what he is going to do. Because he is so insistent, I know it feels like with Lucy, she takes it as him being very pushy. And she doesn't necessarily hate it, but it's also her trying to balance her motivations and what she wants to get done, which namely is ensure that the movie gets the ending that the future is supposed to see, make sure she doesn't mess up the space time continuum, essentially, and also get back to her own home time. That push and pull, that chase and uh, tension really makes for funny circumstances.
Their interactions are full of smart, playful banter, reasons to touch, and this really obvious magnetism that's enhanced by their differences, which just that chemistry just crackles between them. And it's really excellent and wholesome.
The second step of creating an OTP is building the emotional intimacy between the couple. So we are going past that initial magnetic pull, as you put it, with Lucy and Jack. It's building up those layers of emotional intimacy so we can actually see why we want them to have a happily ever after, why we want them to believe that they're going to make it work. Jack, in particular, he is just so tactfully determined to not only be around Lucy, but to figure out who she is, what makes her tick, uh, how she, as a person, interacts with the world. He's very intrigued by this since she sees things so differently from him. Because of that determination on his part, Lucy finds herself often unwittingly sharing more about herself with him than she was initially going to. Part of why she also shares so much about herself is the amount of sincerity he has. Because we both, I would say, classify Jack as a grump. Like, there is a level of sincerity that is just so visceral with him. It makes sense that she trusts him, even potentially subconsciously, and is sharing these things with him because he's a nice man. Early on, Lucy also mentions how his merry wife has a happy ending in her timeline, and learns that what is currently being shot in that moment is a sad or more melancholy ending. Her confusion about this really cheers him up because he wanted a happy ending. He believes he has found an ally uh, in this fight that he's been trying to get this happy ending, because I would say definitely Jack is the romantic at heart with this couple. Lucy wants to be a romantic, but for life has hurt her, thus her nihilism, wondering how in the world happy endings are even
Yeah,
realistic.
she thinks they're sappy. So now that they're allies, they inadvertently, in a lot of ways, join forces in their mutual desire to keep the film on track, even if it's for different reasons. And they spend a lot of their time together and bond over their love of movies and open up about their families and pasts, which really just builds on the emotional intimacy because there's a vulnerability that comes with sharing what's happened to you before and about your families and your hopes and your dreams. The adventures that they end up going on together and the tender moments they share soften Lucy's fear of intimacy and deepen Jack's affection for her. And it gives more opportunities for physical touch and those intimacy rituals between couples to be built.
This movie truly layers expertly the gradual learning and trusting that comes with emotional intimacy um, over top of the chemistry. And it gives us literally that giggly kick your feet squee moment because it's just so sweet and it's so cute that it's really hard not to root for this couple to get together. Um, Despite their own wounds or a measly 80-year time difference between their realities.
What's
Small
eight?
potatoes.
What's
Like
80 years?
what's 80 years? We know somehow they're going to make it work and we're excited to see it because it's just fun.
The third and last step to making an unforgettable OTP is consistently increase the stakes for the characters both individually and as a couple. This movie does an amazing job at this. It is less than 90 minutes long and it does an amazing job at making us wonder during that time of how are these two going to get their Hallmark happily ever after when there's so much stacked against them. It starts with Lucy being tasked with rewriting her script to have a happy ending, even though she doesn't believe in them. So we immediately wonder how is she going to accomplish this while staying true to who she is? Her nihilistic, wounded worldview that people always disappoint her means she has zero interest in romance. So we're eager to see how not only she changes her mind about her script, but how she falls in love and ends up with a happily ever with a man. We're also told at the beginning of the movie that Jack died a year after His Merry Wife was filmed. So that's kind of a problem. How is Lucy going to end up with a man that dies? The tension of meeting this doomed man who has so many aspirations, like he has so many plans for his life, and finding out that he dies within a year also wonders if Lucy's interference can save him or not.
Another layer to increasing the stakes is the literal production of the original movie His Merry Wife. It's plagued with mishaps and drama, and Lucy's presence only seems to increase the tensions on set in those times. So we know that if she can't stop the film from being shut down entirely, the entirety of her whole future, considering her current issue in the present is literally her trying to rewrite the script for a modern audience, it's going to all be deeply affected by what happens in the past, which is always, I think, a fun trope when you do anything with time travel is that push and pull of what can you change if you have time traveled into the past and what is going to change things potentially irrevocably if you do change them. And it really stacks up the stakes for the characters individually as well as a couple.
The next and final kind of layer of the stakes are just what's caused by time travel. Not only must Lucy keep Jack from knowing where she's from, but as she falls for him, she must reconcile that she's from a different time and she's going to have to leave him behind when she goes back to 2023. Can her already very wounded heart handle it? Is she going to stop herself from experiencing true love because she might get hurt again in the future, both by the time travel and by the fact that he dies? Since this is a Hallmark movie with a Hallmark happily ever after, How the hell are we going to get them in the same time period for the rest of their lives?
The movie does a really good job at ensuring that these issues for this couple and this romance stay at the forefront of the story. You aren't really ever allowed to forget about any of these issues that are causing this tension. In doing so, it ensures that there's never a dull moment in this movie. It really makes us root for them as a couple, to be able to find a way not only to ensure that the future happens as it should, but also that they get together as a couple and get to have their happily ever after, because we know that they can live a wonderful life together, that they make each other better people, and that they'll do great things together.
Needless to say, a Biltmore Christmas comes through with a very satisfying, sweet, happily ever after for our couple. I'm not going to tell you how it happens because we hope you'll watch it and enjoy it for yourself if you haven't already. It's well written and acted, and it particularly has an OTP that stands out that you want to revisit over and over again. We definitely have.
We also have created a free worksheet with a breakdown of the 3 steps to creating your own one true pairings as you're writing as a romance author. It includes descriptions and examples. If you'd like to check the description box below, you can find the link there to get your own download.
What is your favorite Hallmark Christmas movie? Tell us in the comments below. We're always looking for new good recommendations.
That our favorite Hallmark trope.
Yeah.
Because Hallmark, it's got its own collection of tropes. And honestly, I feel like they are underhyped. It's been great talking with you guys and talking about A Biltmore Christmas. And we hope you have a safe and lovely holiday.
See you again next year.
Bye. Thanks for joining us today. Like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe for more romance writing tips and tea on Thursdays. You can also find us on other socials at The Romance Rippers. And before you go, share one of your tried and true romance writing tips below. We'll see you soon.